I applaud you, I applaud her. Yes, that's the truth. Nope, that's actually not your property. It's not your wealth, it's ours. I have had the privilege to actually work side by side with Dave for about 5 years on what's gonna grow you and excite you and make an impact in this world that fires you up and fuels you. Because then, my friend, then when you're living that way, income doesn't matter. She's got a pretty cool car. You think I could do my hair?
So I know I promised this video for you and I'm going to deliver. It is how to retire early and what I've learned over the years playing in the financial sphere. And yes, I'm very aware that the idea of retiring early seems just like a pipe dream to some and just completely out of reach, but I would love for you to stick with me in this video.
So I know the premise of this video is being a little critical of some of the things she said. I have tremendous respect for creators like Sorelle Amore because this video she has is a possible way for someone to retire. And the reality is that someone watching this is going to apply it and their life is going to become better from it. So I want to interject the positive along with the no-nonsense bullshit.
Because I'm going to show you the blueprint of not just what's possible, but it's actually been proven using real estate as a key to financial success. And it doesn't matter your age and it doesn't matter your capital that you're starting with. This can work for you. And hey, what's the worst that can happen? You'll sit through a 10-minute video and maybe decide that this isn't for you. And that's okay too. But at least you're learning about finances. So my job here is done.
That right there. I applaud you. I applaud her. Yes, that's the truth.
I'm a bit nervous to make this video for a couple of reasons. One, it is a very touchy subject for a lot of people, specifically with this very bizarre landscape that we're going into right now. I know for a fact that lots of progress can be made in times that are a little bit uncertain, and I want to help you guys be prepared for that and also secure your own futures and financial futures.
We can throw stones at things all day long, but the reality is that someone who prepares, whether that preparation ends up serving them or not, the act of preparing is the work. And that individual 10 out of 10 times is going to go so much further in their journey just because they're preparing. I don't care if you prepare for something and it fails, or you prepare and it's a smash success. You're learning, you're in the game, you're going for it. And that I applaud. So Sorelle was just talking about how the world and the economy is a bit uncertain right now. And that can be dangerous for content creators like us because somebody watches it and then the world changes between when the content was recorded and when the person watched it. And then the person viewing ends up blaming the creator for their outcome. And so I get it, it's dangerous, all right? So I applaud Sorelle for acknowledging this.
Two, this video is not covering off the complexities of this game and going too much into depth of this game. It's not covering off your morals or values, sustainability, the housing crisis. It's not comparing the large developments that are ruining a lot of people's potential to buy and the benefits of actually having small mom and dad investors. It is a complex topic.
So Sorelle is giving a lot of disclaimers. While I applaud that, I also cringe a little because so many of us watched a video and then gone and done stupid. I'm not seeing a path for someone to go deeper and avoid the pitfalls that she's talking about. That's one of the reasons in my crypto course, I talk about crypto and the reality is a lot of scams. Like I've lost lots of money. That's why I created the course so that people who are interested can go deeper and avoid the pitfalls. So Sorelle, if you ever watch this, I would encourage you, maybe create a course or create an affiliate with someone else's course that you've learned from.
I'm just giving you the facts of how people do it, like Robert Kiyosaki, for example. This is for your benefit, and I'm going to come from a place of no shame, no guilt about your finances, because it is such a difficult topic, and I understand there's a lot of trauma of money out there. So if this is resonating, please let me know. I'd love to deliver a lot more content on this channel about finances and freedom. So if you enjoy it, let's get into it. Some of you might have heard the term real estate creates more millionaires than any other asset class, and there's definitely some truth to this statement, but realistically, it's not about becoming a millionaire.
Side note, she said real estate creates more millionaires than any other asset class, okay? A lot of people will think, oh, let me buy real estate and I'll become a millionaire, okay? Well, I have a company in the financial service business, okay? That actually has created more millionaires than I believe any other industry. So it's the nuances of how things are said. She's not misleading. She's being extremely accurate. It's how we watching things. And I'm bringing this up for you, the viewer, so that when you're watching YouTube, here's how to be smart about it. Don't just listen to things and assume. Pay extreme attention to the details of what's being said.
Isn't the end goal. The end goal is to buy back your time, unlock your potential, allow you to pursue whatever the heck you want on your own terms, living life on your own terms, retiring early. That's the one we're interested in today.
Preach it, Queen, preach it. It is not about becoming a millionaire. Let me tell you, I've become a millionaire multi-over. And when I became a millionaire on paper, I all of a sudden realized how little that meant. I could honestly give a rip about the millionaire status at this point. What I give a rip about, what I want you, the viewer, to care about is how is your life different as a result of you handling your money and investments.
There is a boatload of information out there online on how to secure your finances for your future, and it is overwhelming. I kind of get it. I study every single day, and I'm always coming across contradictory information, so I can understand why a lot of people get really overwhelmed in this world.
I want to stop here because Sorelle is talking about how much information is available out there and how she studies every day. I love this because guess who else studies every day? Your boy right here. Okay, if you watch her channel, she's basically retired, she's traveling, and you're like, man, that would be great. It doesn't happen by accident, okay? I didn't get to where I am today by accident. She didn't get to where she is today by accident. It's by studying. Instead of all that just scrolling mindlessly, be intentional. Are you watching videos that grow you? Are you listening to books that challenge your thinking and put new thoughts in your mind? What are you doing with the life you've been given?
And the other day I came across a puzzle piece that kind of locked everything in place for me. And I thought, wait, I think I can actually share this information. It was Ripple Money podcast. And the guy used to be a certified financial advisor. He decided to give that up because it was his father and himself that were in that industry. And he learned very quickly that himself, his dad, and his clients, by maximizing your 401k, investing in stocks, and hoping by the time you get old enough, you're going to have enough to live off, he realized that that's not entirely true. That a lot of people, by the time they get to a retirement age, because of 100%. Market volatility or some other factors, just not quite enough money to end up at the end of your life with enough money to live off very comfortably and very enjoyably.
What Sorelle is saying right here is my rally cry, okay? That is partially why I am so big into crypto. And you gotta study me, okay? Watch other videos, go through my course. I'm not some flash and trash guy, because there's a lot of that in crypto. But the reality is, this whole concept of like invest in a 401k and let it grow and then retire one day is BS. For most Americans. A lot of the world is waking up. I know my generation and younger, we're waking up to the fact that this is a bill of goods that doesn't work very much anymore. So what she's saying here, I cannot agree with the most. If that resonates with you, check out other videos that I've recorded, because I'm telling you, there is hope, there is another way.
And what he found was real estate was actually the key. And this is what I've been doing since the very start. I've always believed in the power of real estate. And so that's why traditional advice you might hear about, maximizing your retirement fund, investing in stocks, hoping for a percentage to live off, it's not wrong. Definitely not. There's aspects to it that definitely should be done. But even the most advanced teachers that we see on the internet, called Dave Ramsey, he doesn't just do that for himself. He does.
So here's what I love about the investing world, okay? You gotta find who resonates with you. For Sorelle, real estate resonated with her. Now, real estate resonates with me. However, I am very risk adverse. And so from that standpoint, I wasn't willing to go and do what she teaches on here. And as we'll find out in a moment, she's not willing to do what she teaches on here. And that's really the bone I have to pick. So for me, if you're like me and her, what I'm curious about is, Sorelle, how did you actually grow your real estate? Because for myself, I didn't have the money. to just go and buy. I didn't come from even a middle class family, okay? I was welfare, grew up on welfare, had a slightly middle class family for a minute. We were the family that everyone literally would call the police on. It was no good, right? I grew up in the hood. And so for me, it was like, okay, shy of risking a Dave Ramsey collapse of where everything's leveraged and leveraged and leveraged, and then all of a sudden a bank comes in and goes, nope, that's actually not your property, it's not your wealth, it's ours, and we're taking it all back unless you can give us a ton of money. I didn't want that, okay? And I don't want that for you. That's where Sorelle and I, we differentiate. And it's really, for me, the hope that I got was in crypto. Because, and not in a gambling way, you have to take my course to understand what is happening in the world. And once you understand what's happening in the world with money right now, I'm not talking the risky crypto, I'm talking Bitcoin. You will understand why Bitcoin will go to 7-8 figures in our lifetime per coin. And it's not just me saying this, okay? So from that standpoint, if you're feeling stuck between that, I want real estate and I'm earning barely a living wage, what can I do? Why don't you look at the #1 performing asset for the last decade plus? And that, my friends, is Bitcoin. Because once you have some money through investing and letting it grow, then you can pull from that and go invest in quote unquote hard assets.
He invests in business, but the information that's being spread around so...
I love this point Sorelle makes about Dave Ramsey. Say what you may about Dave, I have had the privilege to actually work side by side with Dave for about 5 years. I don't talk about that because I can stand on my own 2 feet, and out of respect, he doesn't agree with a lot of the principles and the things in life that I have used to get me to where I am. That said, I have the utmost respect for the man, and let me tell you, everything this man teaches, I believe, is from a place of genuineness. And if you are an entrepreneur, the game is different than for an employee. And if you're looking to retire early, my guess is you're not the average employee, okay? Much like me, much like him, much like Sorelle. And for those of us who are not employees but entrepreneurial, there's a different set of rules. And #1, look at myself and the example she gives here with Dave. Where does Dave's wealth come from? From growing his income. How did he grow his income? Through business, through entrepreneurship. How did I grow my income? Through business, through entrepreneurship. That gave me the breathing room to be able to take money and invest in other assets and diversify in assets like crypto, which now I've taken those and have invested in real estate. I still have my crypto, I also have real estate. It all starts with business. Or if you have a degree that allows you to earn a 6-figure plus income and you're able to live on less than you make, like our guy Dave Ramsey teaches, then you do that. Or if you were like me, earning not very much, busting your butt and wanting to get ahead, then entrepreneurship is a high potential for you.
Is not for anyone that wants to live a very comfortable early retirement, or not even early, just a comfortable retirement. I'm not interested in having a nest egg that covers just the basics of my expenses. What I'm seeking is ultimate freedom, and this is what the strategy entails, because it gives you enough passive income if done over the long term, because this is a long-term game, no get rich quick schemes, but it allows you to get to the stage where you're not just surviving off your passive income, you're actually thriving. You have enough money to do whatever you want, which is called financial freedom. There's financial independence where your needs are covered, but freedom is when you can live the life of your dreams because you're not restrained by finances anymore. I think the thing that fascinates me about money is the psychology part of things, because even now a lot of people have a judgment of what financial freedom might mean. They might think, oh, it's just like buying, shopping, luxurious, traveling, and that's it, eating out, dining out.
On the topic of financial freedom and financial independence, what I found on my journey, it becomes less about what I can add to my life and more about what I'm willing to cut out. Everything has a cost benefit, right? If you want a super yacht, it's going to be billions. Do you need a super yacht? Maybe your answer is yes, and I'm not here to judge that. But if your answer is no, and you get really clear with yourself, all of a sudden, retirement can be a lot closer than you thought. And I just love what she's saying right here.
Not just being selfish, but you don't know people's reasons for wanting to be financially free. There's so many benefits. One, it could get you out of a really crappy relationship that's very toxic. It
Freedom.
could help you and your children to live an amazing life that you so adore for them and for yourself. The strategy: buy, hold, leverage.
Buy, hold, leverage. Something I learned back in 2008 during the height of the financial crisis when I was studying daily, rigorously what was going on, because I knew that one, I was being left behind, and two, there would be another opportunity in my lifetime to take advantage of financial crises. And that word leverage, I understood from physics class or whatever class, levies and things like that, you can leverage. But what does that mean in the financial market? Well, leverage is a fancy word for debt. Anytime you hear someone talking about leveraging, they're talking about debt. They're talking about putting that much money in to get that much of a reward. So that is what leverage means. It's so important that when you're watching and listening and reading things, when you see leverage, you just stop sugarcoating it. Call it what it is. Say debt. So buy, hold, debt.
So money. Strategy is pretty simple. It's buy, hold, leverage. And the goal is to get your very first property under your belt. That is the most important key. Now, how do you do that? Savings, getting a mortgage. You can also do housing hacks.
I love what she's saying right here about getting your first property under your belt. In anything you do, the most important goal is to start. And right now what she's talking about is the importance of starting. And that's why for me, crypto, I prefer starting in that, because unlike some almost unreachable goal with real estate, right now for most humans, you can go out and invest $5, $10, $100 a day, a week, a month in Bitcoin, right? I have a link below with the company I use personally to dollar cost average in. You don't have to wait like in real estate to have a huge down payment and then have debt leveraged and all of these risks of foreclosure and what if this and that and whatever. It's simple. You buy some Bitcoin, you hold it over time, and you let it appreciate. And once it appreciates, you can take that real money and then put it in to another investment like real estate.
In one part of a duplex so that the second half is being rented out to tenants, and then that payment from them covers the mortgage.
Look, if you can find a duplex to do what Sorelle's talking about of buy a property, live on half, rent out the other half, and use the rent to pay for the mortgage, that's amazing. What I've found more and more, that's getting very hard to do. It's hard to find these properties. And part of the reason is they're not being built very much anymore. Maybe drop a comment if you know where they are being built, but I'm not seeing them being built. And so from that standpoint, when you do find one, they tend to cost more, and because the economics are factored in of you're going to be renting two incomes off of this, and so therefore they can ask more, and they tend to do that. So if you can find what she says, great. Just understand it's not as viable nowadays.
There's also syndication, which we'll talk about in just one moment. But the very first property under your belt is the key, because it then allows you to take the equity out of that and then reinvest it into another property. Because we're not looking here to be first owners. That's not the aim at all. We're looking at growing a portfolio here so that you can become.
Okay, what Sorelle just talked about of you're not looking to be a homeowner, you're looking to grow a portfolio. This is a critical mindset for people. They get confused with property because it's, oh, well, I like this house, I like this view. Oh, wouldn't this garden seem nice? No, this is a business, people. It is a business. If you want to buy a home, go ahead, buy a home. Make sure it's your home, okay? But if you're looking to retire off of an investment, you have to look at it through a business mindset. You have to say, this is the costs and this is the revenue. Does it make sense? Do not mix the two. Because as soon as you do, that's when you go down in any business, including real estate. Actually, I would say especially real estate.
Okay, so you're not going to buy a property anywhere, right? You're definitely going to make sure that you buy in a growth corridor where market value is going up, as well as making sure that you're not buying emotionally. Everything is based off numbers. So you're likely going to have to find a team of people that specialize in understanding the best properties to purchase. And there's property investing agencies around the world. Definitely have to do research if they're good, check the reviews. But once you purchase your first investment property and it is going up in price, you're going to be able to withdraw the equity out of that house and reinvest into a new property, buy another property. And this is where the snowball effect starts, because you are now growing your portfolio. So every single month you have tenants paying you into your bank account, and that covers the mortgages of the properties. And that's how you're starting to increase your passive income. Best part is most of the time you're using the bank's money to fund this. There's a caveat on that. I'm going to talk about a bit later.
Guys, there is so much I could say about what she just unpacked. While it's not necessarily untrue, there's always two sides to a coin. Be sure to watch this video about why Bitcoin is a better investment than real estate. It's not just opinions, I show numbers.
What about syndication? So I can hear a lot of people just rolling their eyes at me thinking like, Sorelle, don't be crazy. Buying a property, I don't have enough capital. It's out of the question. This is where syndication comes in. With syndication, you pool your money with other investors that have small capital, and then you are able to buy properties. It could just be the very first small property that you're investing, maybe with your family members. Maybe it's a small apartment building because you pool that money and you can buy more lucrative properties, or maybe a commercial space. A couple of things here. Number one, you want to make sure you have agreements, legal agreements, always.
Legal agreements, always. What she's saying, yes, yes, yes. Go girl, go. Come on.
If it's your best friend, I don't care if it's your lover, I don't care if it's your partner of 7 years, I don't care if it's anyone. Family, you need to have very good legal agreements. Secondly, whether it's syndication, whether it's not, the whole aim of this strategy is to ensure that this is truly passive. So you're going to get a team of professionals that are going to be managing these investments. You're not doing this by yourself. Managing properties can become a full-time job.
You need to watch this 20 times where she says managing a property can become a full-time job, okay? Don't buy all the real estate ad, BS, maybe even on this channel, ads that run between. It's not as simple as it sounds. Real estate is very complex, very. So I love the fact she said it. You gotta hear it. When you're watching videos, you have to pay attention to everything, not just what you want to hear. You have to pay attention to all of it, or you risk getting screwed over big time.
You're going to get experts that do this. Your job is to find capital to invest in more properties. Exit strategy, retiring early. Okay, so how does all of this lead to early retirement, which is the ultimate plan? So once your real estate portfolio generates enough income to cover off your expenses, that's when you become financially independent. Your expenses are covered. You can drop your job.
That is a feeling. That's a great feeling. That's where I am today. I get to do what I want to do because I have enough money to live on without needing to collect a paycheck.
There just for you to survive off. It's a replacement. This is where you become work optional. You get to choose what kind of jobs you work on, where you work, how often you work. The aim here is to remember that you're just financially independent. You're not financially free yet. Freedom is different.
This does not get talked about enough, people. There's this idea, that whole idea being sold to us of retirement and financial freedom and this and that. It's almost like this fairy tale land exists of financial freedom and we don't understand why we aren't there. And the truth is, we don't just go from employee to financially free or entrepreneur to financially free. No, there's a progression and it's the journey. Every day, day by day, little by little, your assets grow, the income grows, and then all of a sudden you have a little more freedom. And in that freedom, you can either hang yourself by making dumb decisions, by doing what she's talking about with people where they read their own headlines and they think, oh, well, I'm financially free now. No, you're financially secure. Don't screw it up. This is where things start getting good, because now you can start working out of your overflow, out of the abundance, the excitement of what fuels you up in life. You can start living out of those passions and making decisions for yourself on what's going to grow you and excite you and make an impact in this world that fires you up and fuels you. Because then, my friend, then when you're living that way, income doesn't matter anymore as long as your basic necessities are covered. And if you end up getting millions, great, but guess what? You don't need millions to be happy, because you're living a fulfilled, purpose-driven life in a daily basis. And that, my friends, that is the life, in my opinion, worth pursuing.
You get to do whatever you want. You're living the dream because you have excess money. When you're work optional and you start working on projects you might enjoy, not burning yourself to the ground, you're taking that money and you're reinvesting it into creating more passive income through investing in more properties. This one's a bit tricky to say, but also it has been proven throughout history that the toughest times create really good opportunities for those that are ready. Lots of millionaires are made during recessions. If you are kind of fearful about the market that is coming up right now, there's steps to prepare. I can make a video about that if you like, but there will be opportunities.
I have made some videos about how to prepare for when the market tanks. This video of hers is so great with the one exception. Just wait for it.
Coming. It's going to be hard because some people have over leveraged themselves.
You hear that? They over leveraged themselves. What does that mean? They're in too much debt. Too much debt, okay? If you can't afford debt payments, you go bankrupt. Don't be dumb. Don't be that person.
They're living in a gigantic house and the recession is just going to have to cull things back for them. I know this is like trippy because moral values and everything like that. But I'm just telling you the facts of how it actually works. Potential risks and how to mitigate them. I don't want to be pretending that this is like just perfect, nothing ever goes wrong. There are things that definitely go wrong in real estate.
Remember that if you want to hear real life stories of how real estate's gone wrong, watch this video on real estate and crypto.
That go wrong with living a life that you're constantly stuck at a desk that you don't like for 40 years. There's risks to everything.
Preach it, Sorelle, preach it. Risks to everything. So often people will look at, well, isn't it risky to go and, maybe do what she's doing or what I'm doing? Isn't that risky? Everything has risk. It's about trade-offs. What's the life you want to be, quote unquote, stuck with? On your deathbed, what do you want to look back on and see that you had or didn't have? It's all trade-offs. And what's going to give you, my friend, you the greatest feeling of accomplishment and peace and fulfillment in this life?
We have market volatility, we have really bad tenants, interest rates are fluctuating. Property maintenance are definitely some issues to consider.
And property maintenance, in inflationary times, property maintenance goes up. In theory, rents should go up, but rents can only go up to the point that people can afford them. Again, grab my course on money and crypto to understand what's happening with money right now. I don't want to scare you, and as Sorelle said, if you prepare for what's ahead, you can win gigantically during times of trouble. And the best part, I'm not even freaking charging you for the course, okay? I'm not here selling it, I'm offering it to better your life. Get it, get it, get it.
Mitigate that though is you get a really good team behind you, you prepare yourself, you don't over leverage yourself, you want to stay informed about the market trends, and you want to have a reserve fund as well.
Yep.
I honestly believe that everybody's going to have a giant financial hiccup in their life, like a massive one at some point, probably multiple. The more I speak with older people, the more that I realize that this is a pretty common thing, that people think they're on a high and then it comes down, and think they're on a high, it comes down. And it's important to be as prepared as you can be. Understand that those times are going to come in your life, because you don't know. Divorce, business separation could happen. You just don't know. I now would like to see it as a way to upgrade yourself, upskill, to take it not as bad luck, but it's just a lesson. And it's those people that can get back up after such a really, really, really hard time.
What Sorelle Amore is talking about here is mindset. Nothing short of mindset. We don't control what comes at us. We control how we respond to what comes to us. And you may not like hearing that. There's lots of people out there right now making lots of money teaching otherwise. But the reality, for a life fulfilled, we have to take ownership of our life and say, look, I may not have had control over my childhood, but my childhood, the situations in my life are what they are. They are what they are. So given that, what do I do starting today? It doesn't matter what my mama, my auntie, my grandfather, my cousin, my best friend, my neighbor, my boss, it doesn't matter what they think of me. It's about what am I gonna do for me? How am I gonna move my life forward? Those are the power questions that powerful people ask themselves, they prepare for, they take ownership over, and as a result, they quote unquote succeed.
That are going to succeed long term, because as I said, no one's going to get out of financial hardship throughout their life, like full stop. I don't care if you're really, really rich or you're not. Shakira, let's talk about it. Shakira, everybody has problems. It is a complex topic. I'm just giving you the facts of how people do it. Like Robert Kiyosaki, for example, he's the master. Oh, I forgot. I was going to tell you about the debt. He's the master of real estate, and he talks so much about using debt, not using your own money, yada, 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 to buy real estate. This is great. Lots of people use this strategy. But I wanted to add a caveat in there because I don't use debt. It scares me. I don't know what the banks are doing in the future. I'm probably missing out on huge opportunities. I just get scared. I don't like the idea of I don't like being in someone's control.
So this is the caveat. And this is where I am thankful, Sorelle Amore, you disclosed this. And my challenge, as someone watching, a fan, if you're not doing it following Robert Kiyosaki, how are you doing it? That's what I would like to know. And that's where, for me, I disclose. I tell you guys how I've done it, okay? It wasn't through leveraging and all these things. It was through buying assets that appreciate, then taking out from it. The difference between real estate and crypto is you have to get a bank's approval to take out money that's supposedly yours in real estate, and then you have to go and pay a bank interest to borrow your own money. That's a little crooked in my opinion. Whereas with crypto, it's yours, it's your asset. If you want to convert it to cash and go buy something else, you can absolutely absolutely do that. You don't need to pay interest, and if there is interest you're paying, a lot of the time it's paying it to yourself. You're being your own bank. So again, I'm not going to get into this video I've been promoting about why crypto is better than real estate. However, watch that video, take my course, and as I said, this is how I got into real estate. So to summarize, I love what Sorelle Amore says in here, with the exception of not telling us how she did it herself. How do you do it without buckets of leverage? I've told you guys how I did it without buckets of leverage, and I believe anyone today watching this video, give yourself 10 years to be retired, do it the way I'm teaching. I believe anyone can do that today. Anyone. So this is a new video style for me. Did you like it? Is it beneficial? Would you like me to do more kind of real interactions like this? Drop a comment, let me know, give a thumbs up, that really helps. Smashing that like helps in more ways than you could ever imagine. Be sure to subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you on the next video, my friend. You keep living your life to the fullest. Peace.